Hello, I'm looking for someone to join me in an adventure. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mad Merlins, and we've got another Middle-earth video. So it's going to be a double whammy as I've got two things for us to look at today. So the first item we're going to look at isn't all that special. It's Hera, daughter of Helm. So I'm a bit behind when it comes to the Middle-earth releases at the moment. This is probably the first one I've picked up since the starter set for the War of Rohirrim. But the second thing we're looking at today is probably going to persuade me to pick up a lot more stuff. Because we have the source book for the War of Rohirrim campaign. Very nice book. We're going to go into this, have a look through it. It's a fantastic book. It's got a campaign series. It's got profiles to play the games if you want to play them just as a solo sort of game, just on an evening with a friend. It's got a hobby article, painting articles. It's a really good book, and it's a really sort of a return to how Games Workshop used to be. So I'll show you exactly what I mean when we dive into this. So before we hit the table and have second breakfast, don't forget to, of course, like this video if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop me a comment down below. Would you be interested in seeing the campaign from this played out? I'm really thinking I'm going to do it just for fun anyway, but if you'd like me to do videos on it, please let me know in the comment section down below. Speaking of down below, in the video description down below, there is a link for warbay.shop. So if you're looking to get some Warhammer stuff, whether it's Lord of the Rings, 40k or Age of Sigmar, check out warbay.shop. They work with disc games and do a great 20% off the RRP. So you can get all what you're wanting at a discounted price. Right, let's head over the hills and take a look at these new items. Right, here we are then with the beautiful Hera, daughter of Helm mini in her box. So you see it on the back at 100%. So wonderful model, looks fantastic. Has the option for cape or no cape. Personally, I really do like that spot of blue, really helps the white pop just that bit more. So let's bring in my knife. We will score the plastic wrap and unbox it. He says struggling. There we go. So we'll open her up, pull out the contents. So we have, first off, our bases then. So we've got a 40mm round base for her mounted form, and the 25mm standard base for her on foot form. We have an instruction guide, we'll look at that in just a sec, and we have a spinning frame. Boom. So there we have the frame of Hera, and it's really quite chock-a-block. So we've got the two parts of Ashere's main body there. Got the mane, the reins, the other legs, the head, etc. there. We've got Hera, and it's like her mounted legs. No, that's her on foot legs. Then we've got her mounted legs there. We've got head options there. Well, it's only the one head option really. Doesn't have a helmeted head, or at least a helmeted appearance in the film. Yeah, she is really nicely detailed, lots of small components. We've got the cape there, so we've got hair pieces if you don't use the cape, and then the capes are sort of molded in with the hair, except for this one here, which has a separate component. Yeah, all in all, she looks really fantastic, lots of details. So we'll see how this goes together in the instructions. So here we have our instructions. I sort of read this first, so going over what you require and your safety. Here's a list of tools you'll need. So glue, clippers, and a mold line remover. We've got an explanation of symbols here. So going into the rest of the instructions, we got the part instructions first off for Hera on foot. So we've got her torso, her legs. She's either got the sword or a bit there at the top of her scabbard. We've got her cape part there. We got the long flowing locks there. Her face gluing on in place there. As option 2, we've got a different body. We've got body 3 this time, which is the uncaped version. And we've got the scabbard there this time, and still use part 5 and we've got a different part for the hair that finishes off on without the cape. So yeah, we got some different components for each of the different build options, but they both share the same core body with the only set of legs and the only single face that they have. But we got part 7 for her on foot body here and part 13 there. How to build Hera and Asheray. So glue the two halves of Asheray together. Do the saddle and the bags on the back, front legs gluing on, and then the head, and then finally the mane and Hera's legs plus the front of the saddle. Hera's torso, her scabbard, her left arm with the reins, her cape option, back of her head, front of her face, the hair, and her sword arm as well, which is there. Whereas option 2 is without the cape, so we've got a different body. Is that the same arm? 29? No, 2 different arms again. And different scabbard. I believe we have the same reins arm. 28, is it? No, 35. So yeah, 2 different sets. Yeah, 32. I keep going backwards and forwards here. Sorry about this. Yeah, 32. So we only have the one face for the mounted version. So they do share one component. So you can't build and easily swap out just the 2 torsos because you require only that. You only have that one face option. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for capes both ways. She just looks so much better with that extra little spot of colour. Other than that, she's a bit too white. I mean, Asheray there is sort of blending into the cream background of the box art. And yeah, that blue, like I said, really just does help her stand out a bit more. And it's going to help tie into the colour scheme I'm going to be going for my Rohan. But for that, we need to dive into this. So let's put Hera out of the way for a moment, and then we'll look at our new source book. So I've adjusted the camera to go vertical here, and we can take a look through the source book. So we've got some bits to talk about, so let's go through it in kind of, well, order if we can. So what do we have on the contents? So we've got the introduction to the book, we've got the War of Rohirrim campaign, we've got all of our scenarios, so quite a few, and then we got a dedicated hobby section that goes for 16 pages, so that's pretty cool. So, Riders of the Mark, Brothers of Rohan, arise! Helm, Hammerhand, Lord of the Rings, War of Rohirrim. So, a lot of the art through this book is going to be straight up screenshots from the film. Here we see him leading the charge against Wolf's forces on the open plains. This here, on the other hand, is more specialised artwork, seeing Helm frozen in place with a load of dead hill tribesmen around him. So there's some nice differences in art styles and just screenshots, which is pretty cool. This one's sort of a kind of taken from the film, but also kind of more improved. But yeah, really cool. Helm again standing defense against Helm's Deep. Hera with the Great Eagle, and Leaf taking the armor up the mountain. So we've got an introduction to the book. We've got our narrative play scenarios, we've got the linked campaign, painting and hobby guides. So we look at how to build destroyed houses, hill tribe encampment, the rabid Mumark, painting warriors of Rohan, the different heraldry of Rohan, and then painting the warriors of the hill tribes. So really, really good stuff. So here we have the campaign. shows you the 10 missions you play in linked games. Depending on the victory, depends on benefits in the next scenario. So if we just look at scenario 1 here, to claim the throne. In a new threat on Rohan's border scenario, once per game, Hera may declare a single heroic march for free if you win. If evil wins, in the new threat on Rohan border scenario, once per game from turn 2 onwards at the beginning of the priority phase, the evil player can automatically count as having won the roll to choose who has priority for that turn, though must choose to have priority. Additionally, in the turn this ability is used, the good models cannot declare heroic moves for the remainder of that turn. So yeah, it makes the Rabid Moonmark a bit more of a threat and restricts your opponent from being able to get out of its way. But yeah, really, really cool, nicely thought out. And yeah, if you want to link all the missions together into the scenario, it's a nice way of doing things. Speaking of scenarios, we've got all our scenarios here. So 10 scenarios over 20 pages. So to claim a throne, this is the start of the movie where Freka challenges Helm, and that is pretty much the only participants. We have a nice little sort of battlefield, 1 foot by 1 foot, 1 inch deployment zone in the center, and it's basically a fisticuff punch to see who comes out on top. After that, we've got the new threat on Rohan's borders. So this is where Hera, Freyalaf, Olwyn and Leaf are out on the plains and come across the Rabid Moonmark, and it chases them down. Hera's then captured, and we do the enemy revealed. So we got the stable, wolf's quarters, and the encampment here. So this is pretty much the rescuing of Hera and fleeing from Isengard. We have the Plains of Edoras, which is where Wolf's army descends on Edoras. We have Helm and his sons leading the charge out onto the plains. Lord Thorn's betrayal. So this is where Lord Thorn reveals his snake-like attitude to things. Basically, he's helping to destroy Edoras from within, even trying to kill Hera in the process, but doesn't exactly go his way. Streets of Edoras. So this is where the princes have returned to Edoras, both to help with the evacuation and find their sister, but we have Moonmarks breaking down the gates, so we have that. Edoras burns, so this will be the fleeing of the city, where pretty much everybody is now on the back foot, the buildings are alight, and everyone's trying to get out alive. After that, we're in Helm's Deep, and we have the Wrath of Hammerhand here. So it's literally Helm, Wraith of the Hornburg, up against the Chieftain and 24 Hill Tribe. So I don't think we have an actual Chieftain model yet. I think that's just one of the models from the plastic box, but it does the job. So maybe there will be a model at some point in the future. Who knows? Yeah, pretty cool scenario. Played on a small 2x2 board. Got the Hill Tribe encampment there. And then Helm just goes around punching people. Then we have the Beasts of the Long Winter. So this is another small sort of scenario up in the mountains around Helm's Deep. We've got the 2 orcs from Mordor, the Troll, Helm and Hera. The Last Stand. So again, it's Helm sort of on his own. Hera's there only as she escapes to get back to the fortress. Finally then, the Fate of Rohan. So this is where Hera dons the bride's outfit and faces Wolf in a challenge. Then Freyalaf and Olwyn sort of back her up, come to the rescue and send the Hill Tribe fleeing. And that is the end of the campaign. I have a lovely shot there of Moonmarks with Harad riders, Hill Tribesmen, and of course the Rohan forces there. Hobby section. So this is the fun bit, and it's really great. Really happy to see a return to this in books. It's kind of been absent, but yeah, this is really inspiring. You will pay for this with your life. Wolf, Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. So this is a nice little hobby section. It has a great selection of articles, both for terrain and for painting your models. So first off, we have a damaged Rohan house. So before you completely build your house, you want to mark out with a marker where you want the damaged part of the roof to be, using saw and hobby knife, cut out around the guidelines. Then glue your roof together as normal via the instructions. Build the rest of your house, but don't attach the roof. Then we want to measure up and cut some balsa beams to fit into the design, and basically glue the smaller beams in place after you put the roof down. Then it's a simple matter of painting, gluing in additional support beams. Nice tip here of using PVA and static grass to represent burnt thatching, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, after that it's a simple matter of painting. We've even got broken windows here, which is pretty cool. So they simply cut the windows out and put in plastic sheeting and some wire meshing to make a bit of a better looking sort of damaged house, which is really cool. Even cut the door out as well. So yeah, how to base your models as well. So a bit of thick card or thin board, cut it in a circle, decorate it with base material to match your gaming board, and there you are. Up next, we've got the Hill Tribe's encampment, and this requires quite a bit of extra material. So first off, we're making a fire. So you want a spare bell from the Rohirrim Watchtower. This is cut down to make the pot. You want some thin string or thread, some bits of balsa wood, and we also need modelling putty as well, a small bit of that for helping attach to the pot. But yeah, we've got a campfire here, which is simply made out of a circular-ish base, some slate, small bits of stone, and some bits of balsa wood. Then we've got a cooking area, which again is made of string, the bell, some balsa wood and bits. And then we're on to the more in-depth bits. So you want varying lengths and sizes of balsa wood to build a frame, which is connected via string. And then we want to dry out and use wet wipes to form the animal hide that is used to create the makeshift encampment of the Hill Tribes. Then we've got a nice little paint guide here showing you how to paint it up, adding lots of nice different effects and details. So yeah, really cool little hobby section on how to make a ramshackled sort of encampment. So on to the next stage, we need to do a Moomark, the rabid Moomark. So this is going to require a bit more of advanced skill. May pay to try and get a damaged secondhand Moomark. So a lot of the requirements you're going to need to change is cutting the trunk to be in a more aggravated sort of pose, filled in with filler. You want bits of string and stuff to add extra detail and wrappings around it. We need to remove the back howdah components as best we can. This is then filled in with a combination of tin foil and then various different types of modelling putty, and then matching up the rest of the straps to match. Then we've got a nice paint guide. We've added in some detail with modelling putty and craft knife, where he's got his sort of flesh showing through his skin. And yeah, pretty cool how to paint this guy up, making it look really cool as well. So our final pages is dedicated to painting your infantry models. So this is basically how to paint your basic Rohan warriors. So going through your leather, your boots, the metals, the wood, the skin, and the different shields, going over 3 different versions. So we've got the standard sort of green, we've got a more darkish grey, and we've got the blue as well. How to do the beards, so 2 different sort of tones, a more orangey tone and a blonder tone there. How to do the tack on your horses, so that's really cool, showing you different colours there. and how to paint the horses themselves as well, which is really good. And then this is the fun bit, where we've actually got a list of the heraldry of Rohan and the prominent houses. So the previous colour scheme is your basic Rohan house of Edoras. Then we've got all the different lords throughout the marks. So we start off with Lord Thorn, the traitor. So his symbol is a ram's head with a curled horn, which in the movie it looks very snake-like when Hera sees his mark in Wolf's encampment, sort of hinting at his betrayal. So that's really cool. On a sort of a blue-green background with gold trim. He has bluish armor and he has red cloaks, and it goes through here how to paint the armor and the cloaks in nice detail. Lord Freyalas colours of Dan Harrow, so he has the sort of standard horse with flowing mane on a green background with sort of a reddy and gold trim. His cloaks are more standard sort of red sort of colour with a black outer. I've got a small greeny brown sort of colouring to his leathers as well. So again, it goes into nice detail here. And the one I'm actually going to go for here is Lord Gramhir of the West Eminent. I've been wanting to do a blue Rohan scheme, but I've been kind of struggling on getting the colour placement. I've also been wanting to use Baraknar Burgundy a lot as a sort of a secondary colour on an army. And this ticks all the boxes. So this is a beautiful colour scheme, blue cloth, blue shields, and then the Baraknar Burgundy, which has a beautiful purple to their capes. So yeah, the cape lining, the outer cape is sort of blue. I think it's kind of hard to tell. Everything might all be purple. But yeah, beautiful purple sort of colour scheme. And we've got the blue on the cloth and the shields. So yeah, that's going to look really good. His personal banner is sort of gold trim around the top. We've got a deer with a sword going through and a white background with these awesome tribal markings at the bottom. Then we have Lord Fright of the Westfold. His banner is, again, it's a stag's head, this time facing forward. Some decorative filigree underneath. Sort of a stylized cross on a blue background with a yellow border. And again, he's got this sort of purple cloak, but he's got a greenish inside. So using Castellan green, Death Guard green, ochre and camo. And again, he's got a sort of a more blacky brown this time for his cloth, and even got white cloth on the underside there, which is pretty cool. Finally, Lord Prim of the Fold has a set of horns as his personal heraldry on the Rohan sort of standard Royal Guard shield design. A camo green background, again some golden filigree, some darker red filigree in the corners, and a yellow trim. These colours are, again, another one that could be an interesting one to do, but it's more of a blue-green than a pure blue, because we use Dark Reaper, Known Oil, Thunderhawk Blue, and Phoenician Grey. And what do we actually do for shields? Yeah, so for the blue areas, we use Dark Reaper, Shade Known Oil, a chunky Thunderhawk Blue highlight, and then finally Phoenician Grey. So yeah, it's not the blue I'm wanting. It's a nice blue, but yeah, I definitely want that sort of blue, which is Contour Blue, Known Oil, Outdoor Guard Blue, and then Calgar Blue, which is a really cool colour. Finally then, at the very bottom here, we have Lord Everbrand of East Emnet. His banner is a really nice intricate banner. So we've got a stylized boar head on a star sort of background, gold filigree in a circular pattern. His banner is actually more of a rectangle with the separate white sections hanging down. Really unique and really cool. So again, another nice blue. We got Stegodon Scale Green, Known Oil, and Thunderhawk Blue, but the shields are more of a blacky sort of colour, and yeah, I really do prefer the blue cloth and blue shields there, which is what I'm going for. But Yeah, these guides are really nice, really in-depth, give you the secondary colours to match, and then you can utilise the previous paint guides to finish off the rest of your details effectively. Yeah, really, really nicely done, really great detail, and very inspiring as well. And I do love the heraldry. Some of that is kind of easy to freehand. I've done something similar to Freya's banner for the standard from Gambling. But yeah, the rest of them are really nice. This one's going to be a kind of difficult one to do. Painting that stag's head isn't going to be easy. But I'm up for a challenge. Finally then, we have a guide on how to paint your hill tribesmen. So we go through your grey cloths, your furs, light and dark, how to do your flaming torches, how to do the gaiters on the legs, so various different colours. So you make each of your models stand out a little more. Other details, so any straps, quivers, hair, and faces as well. And how to make some nice little bases. So using PVA glue, some sand, some bits of stone or cut off base. Allow it to fully dry, paint with Goreful Brown, shade of Agrax Earthshade, and dry brush back up with Goreful Brown. Finally, a dry brush of Carrick Stone, rim the base of Storm Vermin Fur, as well as the stones, before applying Agrax Earthshade. And then add some final dry brush of Administratum Grey to the stones, some tufts of grass, and Steel Legion Drab around the base rim. So there we go, really nice detailed guide on how to paint up your hill tribesmen. You can always add snow if you want to do the Siege of Helm's Deep in the winter. Yeah, all in all, it's still really cool. Finally then, we got some awesome artwork. We got Hera as the Bride of Death facing off against Wolf. And we have this awesome artwork here. We got Leaf at the front. We got the Princes of Rohan, Helm, Freka, Wolf, Targ, and then poor Hera at the centre there. Yeah, really, really cool. We got another quote here to end. Our people do not call this keep the Hornburg anymore. They have named it for its true king. Helm's Deep. Hera, Lord of the Rings, the Ward of Rohirrim. And on the back, a glorious army shot there. Right then, I'll bring Hera back in. I'll give you my final thoughts as well as the pricing on these items. So there we go. That's my sort of double bill unboxing and review of Hera, Daughter of Helm, and the new Ward of Rohirrim sourcebook. So luckily then, with the collection still in its sort of infancy, it's very easy to build up the collection you need to play through the campaign. The Ward of Rohirrim Battle of Edoras box is still available. A great set, giving you 2 houses, plenty of hill tribes, Rohan warriors, plus your sort of characters that you need for most of the scenarios. We've got Halef and Hammer, Wolf, and General Targ. But yeah, once you have enough stuff to get going, you can easily run this campaign with you and a friend, or on your own if you so choose, much like myself. Yeah, most of the games are on fairly small boards. The larger ones are on 4x4, which, yeah, it's not too bad. You could easily scale it down. Most of my gaming boards I have are 3x3 or 3x4, so I could cut off a foot and sort of reduce things by a couple of inches or something. All in all though, really cool. Does require you to have access to a Mumak or multiples, because you do want a couple at least for the Siege of Edoras there. Definitely look for someone who has an established Harad sort of force. You might have a couple of Mumarks that you could borrow, or they will take on the role of the evil side. But yeah, all in all, it's pretty cool. So it's a great project. You could sort of start at the beginning, get Freka and Helm, build and paint them, play that scenario, then get the stuff for the next scenario, and so on and so forth. There's some nice hobby sections in here, like I said, the building the Rabid Moonmark, the Hill Tribe Camp, Really cool. I do love it. It's very much like how things used to be. I know for a lot of the other game systems like Age of Sigmar and 40k, Games Workshop are all very, you must buy these terrain kits or these terrain kits. But I love the fact that for Lord of the Rings now, we've come back to the ability to build and create your own personal terrain, which is really cool. And it's what I've done for my Mirkwood board. I've got quite a lot of trees and stuff that I've made. I've got some ruins, etc. for Dog Called Dorts, and yeah, really cool. So it's a really well done book. My hat is off to the Middle-earth team. They really have sort of come full circle back to how these source books used to be. The paint guides are really nice. It's great that we've got the individual heraldry for all of the different Rohan lords. And yeah, I can definitely see myself getting Lord Fawn and some Traitor Rohan. I may even invest in a second copy of Battle of Edoras, sell off the unwanted characters. And yeah, I might even build those houses as damaged houses. I've got quite a bit of balsa wood up in my hobby box. As for Hera, she's a great character, great model. Wanted this ever since I saw her come out, and I kind of only really now gotten around to picking her up. My next purchase is probably going to be Helm, and then Freyleth, Olwyn, and Leaf once they come back into stock. Yeah, those are definitely my next purchase list. After that, it's going to be expanding the forces. Probably, like I said, a second box of the starter set just to save money. Because I wouldn't mind getting the houses again, as I said, and doubling up on the Hill Tribe and the Warriors of Rohan. Half of those warriors will go to Fawn and be Traitor Rohan. But yeah, there we have it. Right, finally then, prices. So Hera is £23.50, sort of standard Lord of the Rings character pricing. So it's not too bad. As I say, you do get two models in there, the mounted and the foot version, and there's quite a few options on there as well. So it's not exactly a small frame, and giving you those choices is really good. And like I said before, that extra pop of colour with the blue really does help set her off. As for the source book, it's actually £17, not a bad price for the book. I mean, okay, it's £5 more than I paid for the Fall of the Necromancer campaign back in 2008. But yeah, it's still pretty good. As I said, you get a brilliant campaign system. You get the scenarios, which you can play regardless of if you want to do the campaign or not. You have the awesome hobby sections. You have the paint guides. It's a fantastic book, really well done. As I said, hats off to the Middle-earth team. So there we go. I'm going to call the video there. That's it. Let me know, as I said, if you want to see me build, paint, and play through the campaign, or just at least play through it. I'm probably going to build and paint on my own time. As usually, my Middle-earth stuff does take second stage to a lot of my other projects. As you know, Combat Patrol Carnage is currently taking up a lot of my time. I'm off to go build Hera and then get her sprayed, and she can sit with the rest of my Rohan that have not been painted since Christmas last year. Yeah, I'm really going to have to try and crack on with that. If I don't get any of it done in October for Splattober, I might do it for No Grey November, where again is another basically paint a minimum of 30 models, one a day. So yeah, I can probably do that. Paint a character, paint basic infantry, etc. I think I could get some stuff done. If not, it'll be finished at February or even saved for Middle-earth March, as I did plan to do them for last Middle-earth March, but never got around to doing it as my Mirkwood stuff and the Wizards took a bit more of a priority. But yeah, I think I'll be doing it next year, if anything. So, I've yammered on long enough. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you next time for another adventure. Goodbye.